Panther people, what up? Is it time to start thinking about a Jaycee Horn replacement? Panther people, what up? It is week 3 in the Carolina Panthers season in the year 2025, and Jaycee Horn, wow, he tweaked his hamstring, and he might be out for about 5 weeks. Panther people, what up? It is week 8. It's the year 2029, and Jaycee Horn out. Pulled his butt cheek. What up? I am a father of 5. It is now the year 2030, and Jaycee Horn, guys, he broke his finger. He might be out for about 5 weeks, but he shouldn't miss training camp. I watch Panthers Post with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. I'll be honest with you guys. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to know what to talk about. It's like early, mid-June. Nothing really big happening. Sure, Brian Burns rocking number 0 now. Could I talk about that for 5 to 15 minutes? Yeah, I could stretch it. Oh, the quarterback's wearing black practice jerseys now. That is awesome. That is a great story about togetherness, but I can't really talk about that. I could talk about Bryce Young just being a genius for 15 minutes, but I think we've already gone through that already and still haven't played a real game yet. But wow, thank you, Carolina Panthers, and thank you, Jaycee Horn and your genetics for continuing the content machine. I love you so much. And also, honorable mention and thank you to Matt Rule. This week, literally, I think it must have been the same week or a couple days after, The Athletic wrote a full article dedicated to our starting quarterback, Jaycee Horn, that he feels great this year. He's in a great place, that he's not injury prone. You can't really blame him for, structural problems, broken foot. Can't hate him on that. Even though I did say back in the day, I think his cleats might be too small for his feet. Just saying. I'm kind of barefoot shoe army, so I'm kind of biased. He broke his wrist. Also, can't blame him for that. These aren't ACLs, MCLs, soft tissue injuries, anything like that, that really you can prevent with proper training, nutrition, hydration, all that stuff. But damn it, it freak happened again. But there's multiple reasons why I'm upset about this. So Jaycee Horn out for the rest of OTAs, basically out for the entire summer. But he should be making it till training camp. They assessed him. He hurt himself. I'll get to it because it pisses me off. He hurt himself, and he's going to be out until training camp. No surgery. Thank goodness. I hope. But we've all been there here before. Maybe not with Jaycee, but with other players as well. A couple things about this that pissed me off. Number one, he didn't hurt it while training with the team. They say he hurt it training on his own. Why are you training on your own? I know OTAs are optional team activities, but you should be with the team. Do you not trust the team? Do you not trust the team doctors? Do you not trust the team trainers? Do you not trust the coaches? Why are you training on your own while everyone's training together? To me, now maybe more will come out of this and maybe on his own, because mind you, I'm not there. I can't look on the field and be like, oh, JC's not here. What's he doing? Oh, he's training on his own with his own trainer. Okay. Maybe on his own meant, when practice was done and he was off to the side on his own. But if he was with a private coach, why are you with a private coach? To me, and I talked about this as a good thing, the fact that he grew up the son of a legend in Joe Horn, meaning he grew up as a millionaire. His dad played multiple years in the NFL. He grew up wealthy. And I thought the fact that he played like a kid who did not grow up wealthy, as in he had to earn it. He had to earn every single bit of respect that he got. He had to earn this position to be in the draft, just like Patrick Surtain's kid. And so I thought that he had the attitude of a guy who he wasn't an NFL bloodline. But if you are training on your own, to me, it felt like you think you know better than the coaching staff, than the training staff, that you know the coach that knows you best, not the team that is paying you millions of dollars, which again, didn't really need because he grew up with it. So that's where the elitist mentality in my brain kind of comes from. It makes me upset. Maybe I'm just filling in blanks. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like the fact, it has nothing to do with him, nothing to do with the team, but we always see this happen, all right? So firstly, Brian Burns, star player, arguably one of the best players, if the best player on the team, rocking 0 now. There, I mentioned it, not more to talk about it. I really don't understand why 0 is so great. Anyways, he hurts his ankle in the last week of the season. Nothing happens. Nothing, they think he's fine. He's fine. He waits months. The last game was in January. And then he just lives his life. He does his thing. He's training. He's like, man, my ankle's still bothering me. They look at it again. And then he has surgery, whatever, procedure, whatever it is. And sure, he's walking around, but he's not really practicing. He's not doing anything. He gets a surgery in March, April. So they're saying Jaycee Horn doesn't need surgery. Okay, so it's his ankle. It's not the ankle that he broke. It's not the foot that he broke in his rookie season on the turf in Houston. It's his other foot. So that's good. But he says he doesn't need surgery. Okay, so let's say he just rests and relaxes, doesn't do anything. Assuming he doesn't do anything, just relax, does absolutely nothing on his foot because it's his foot, right? Like you can train your upper body, but does he really need to do that? Either way, let's say he's just walking around and he thinks, okay, it is now late July. I'm just gonna run on it, see what happens. Ooh, that still feels really bad. It hasn't changed. Go to the doctor. Oh my goodness, the swelling has gone down. And guess what, Jaycee? You actually need surgery. Let's do it. My next time is late July, early August. You're not going to be ready until late October. Hey, Carolina Panthers, your starting quarterbacks now are Dante Jackson, who's coming off an Achilles injury, and Keith Taylor, and maybe, potentially CJ Henderson. Hey, you know that undrafted free agent? Let's put him out there as well. Mr. Wright, come on down. That's what I'm afraid of. Like they need a second, third, and fourth opinion on that foot. And they need to see what the hell is actually wrong. Because I have a feeling, I have a fear that they're going to look at that thing in a couple weeks and be like, gosh, now that the swelling has gone down, you need actual surgery. You're out for a bit. And it is upsetting to me because you've seen it on Twitter already. Your best ability is your availability. And if you are just not available, you are not valuable to the team. And they obviously, I'm sure they're doing it. You cannot go into a season with a guy coming off, first of all, an undersized corner who relies on speed, coming off an Achilles injury. So you cannot rely on CJ Henderson, Keith Taylor, Wright, Ezekiel Wright, Rajon Wright. You cannot rely on Rajon Wright. You cannot. He's an undrafted free agent. Sure, he's a guy that a lot of people, including myself, saw the fact that they picked him up after the draft as an undrafted free agent. Thought, you know what, this guy can actually make some noise. I like his game, but it is irresponsible to put him out there. And you could say that the coaching staff that they have defensively, and we're going to talk about the coaching staff on how they're such an asset now, at least on the offensive side. But the people that you have on defense should be able to coach up guys like the Keith Taylor, C.J. Henderson, Rajon Wright, and whoever to step up in a moment in case Jaycee is not ready. But they got to start looking at the cornerback market right now. They got to look at fringe guys that are on the verge of getting cut, maybe unhappy in their situation. I'm seeing Marcus Peters' name thrown out there. Absolutely. Just any veteran that could come in and knows the Ejiro Evero defensive scheme or something similar. They're all kind of the same, as in like a derivative of each other or some kind of a coaching staff. You got to find them. You got to trade a late round pick or a player, and you got to make it happen because we saw, like, he is valuable. Obviously, Jaycee Horn's valuable because without him, look where the Panthers were. They were a Jaycee Horn broken wrist away from making the playoffs. And I think if he was there at the end of the season, I think the Panthers are in the wild card. Absolutely. And I think they give the Cowboys a run for their money. I honestly felt that way with Sam Darnold. And you can hate on me as much as you want, but it looks like the San Francisco 49ers could be putting their future onto him. Either way, it is just such a bummer because we know he's a great player. But at the same time, do we? Do we know he's going to be a great player? Is he one of the best players on this team? Because he hasn't proved that for a full season yet. And now it's been 2.5 full seasons because the foot is weird, guys. The foot is weird. There's like multiple bones and ligaments and everything in your foot. And what gets me worried about how the fact that he hurt his other foot, it might mean because it's the foot that he broke in his rookie year, he was overcompensating on the foot that he just busted. So now that he's going to be overcompensating on that foot, now he's going to overcompensate the one that he broke, and it's just going to be back and forth, back and forth. We saw what happened with Greg Olsen with his foot. It just kept getting re-injured and re-injured and re-injured because he's a big guy. He plays an explosive position. Jaycee Horn is a big corner. He does things that your foot is not naturally made to do. Backpedal, stop, start, turnaround, pivot. He's aggressive as well. You don't want him to start losing his game. And so he hasn't been able to show it for 2 full seasons. He's not going to be able to show it in his 3rd season. You don't have a first-round pick going into next year. You got to do something to address it now, personnel-wise, because you can't go into the season hoping that somehow he's going to be okay with this, and he's going to he's our number 1 corner. He's going up against the number 1 wide receivers out of every single team that they're going to be playing. And oh man, it's just so brutal. I'm getting like arthritis in my back. It hurts so much to think about. I don't know who you trade for. I think you look at a 2nd string corner, a 3rd string corner who could probably be the 2nd string corner in Carolina, and you trade for them right away. Someone out of Seattle. I mentioned before whether it's Shaquille Griffin, whether it's a 3rd string guy out of Dallas. I totally forget his name right now. Whether it's I don't know, you call Ron Rivera out in Washington to see if somebody out there is disgruntled, wants to change of scenery. Just like you need one of those. Not a guy who sucks, but a guy who probably just needs a change of scenery, and Carolina and Charlotte could be that spot, because you cannot go into the season with a banged up Dante, on the mend Dante, and a banged up Jaycee Horn, and the ghosts of CJ Henderson and Keith Taylor. You just can't do it. Here's what Mike K got from Tommy Tremble, tight end for the Carolina Panthers professional football team, about this coaching staff. This is really the first time that we've really been coached up receiving-wise, other than us trying to figure it out on our own. Oh my God. Matt Rule, man. What's your problem? Like, okay. So basically, Tommy Tremble, who was into this draft, came in as a blocking tight end, aggressive, killer instinct mentality, going into the pros from Notre Dame and never being taught how to catch ball properly. So this is a guy who doesn't naturally catch the ball, or was never asked to catch the ball as much in college than he did in the pro. And he did pretty well in the pros. I've been a Tommy Tremble truther since before draft time. I thought he was going to be a better pro than he was as a collegiate player, because the fact that he's willing to block, and then I thought he's athletic enough and smart enough to catch. But the fact that he got into a team that just said, hey, you know what? They had the respect to him, saying that you're big in this game, playing this game your whole life. Just catch the ball. Just figure it out. We'll throw you the ball. You catch the ball. It's easy. But the fact that it was so omitted from his professional experience that it is something that he has pointed out with his team. It's like, wow, you guys are coaching us how to catch a ball? I thought I was just supposed to just know that on my own. No, this is how the best way to catch a ball. Wow. And I've been saying that, Tommy Tremble is a potential trade candidate, because I thought that he was great, but he's not like a world beater. But he hasn't been allowed to be a world beater. You've stunted his growth by not coaching him, and coaching him in a position that requires that. And the fact that he hasn't been the pro that I thought he would be, because I thought, okay, he got the blocking side down pat. Now, if you just figured out the catching part, he is a complete tight end in the modern day NFL. He could have been that for at least a year, or maybe not his rookie year, because tight ends take a while, but he could have been an all-league tight end last year. But the fact that he's not being coached about it, and now he is, and then you got him and Hayden Hurst. Maybe the Panthers knew something about that, and that's why they didn't draft a tight end this year, because they knew what they had in Tommy Tremble. They had this clay that was still not solidified yet from the Matt Rule era, because they were missing a couple pieces. They have not yet, put the completed last little pieces of the puzzle to make him a complete tight end. They're like, wow, we could totally make this guy something special. He can wait in the wings of Hayden Hurst and still contribute now. I mean, everything makes sense now when I hear the NFL draft guys 2 years ago saying, if they had a son playing quarterback, they would not want them drafted to the Carolina Panthers. It seems like a lot of people knew, starting with Teddy Bridgewater, I'll apologize to Teddy Bridgewater, that this was just not an NFL coaching staff, and it showed on the practice field and thus on the playing field. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. That's why we now have Frank Reich. We now have Thomas Brown. We now have Josh McCown. We now have Jim Caldwell. It all happens for a reason. We now have Bryce Young. And so it all happens for a reason, right? You got to crack a couple eggs to make an omelet. So in a way, thanks, but also get out of here. Stay in Nebraska. So let me know how you guys feel in the comments below about Jaycee Horn. Is he long for the Carolina Panthers? Do you think he actually has a future with this team? Do you think the Panthers should start looking for his replacement? Just start looking for, either way, start looking for a cornerback like yesterday. And also, Tommy Tremble, do you think that he's got a long-term future with this team with the new coaching staff? Could he actually be something special very soon? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Coming up, stick around. I'm going to talk about Bryce Young taking first team reps right away. The Bryce age, it's here.